Hi, Will. Alright, so we're going to try to fit in 2 leagues tonight, depending on how long they take. And I think we should just get going. For those that arrive late, that's on them. So this is something that I've been considering playing. I haven't actually played Legacy in about 3 weeks. My first league back was yesterday, and I didn't do that well. I went 2-3. I've been playing a lot of Standard the last few weeks because I've been preparing for GP Orlando and GP Providence, so I was playing the Standard Storm deck. I went 10-5 and then 5-3, so not that great. I think that deck really needs something to beat Black-Red, and then it would be insane because like you just can't lose to blue decks with the Standard Storm deck, and I loved it. It was so much fun to play, but Black-Red is a coin flip, and Mono Green is like 40%, maybe even a little bit less. So if you could beat Black-Red, you could accept Mono Green being terrible, but going into a GP with the most popular deck in the format being a coin flip, you're putting yourself a little bit at a disadvantage. So if I was to play the deck again, I think I would try like Battle at the Bridge or something along those lines. So this is what I'm going to try. You'll notice that the main deck is fairly stock. There's a second Badlands because we are not playing green, and instead we are supporting Pulverize. This is because online recently there's been a lot of Eldrazi and even a little bit of Dragon Stompy coming back due to the format going back to more non-basics with Grixis Control and Eldrazi and other things. And you'll notice that there's no green. That's because of Pulverize. Like, you have options like Meltdown or Bifrost, but they're just not nearly as good. If you want to play an artifact wishable target, Pulverize is just hands down the best one. And playing something like Meltdown or Bifrost, like it just takes so long, and Pulverize is actually just a turn faster. So you'll see that because we don't have green, we have Chain of Vapor, Surgical Extraction, but my favorite card is not there. There's no Grape Shot. So what it comes down to is you can either play Massacre or Grape Shot with a list like this. And I think Massacre is slightly better in the metagame due to how much Death and Taxes is around currently. I couldn't fault you for playing Grape Shot. Like I said, it's my favorite card. But I do think if you're just playing to get the maximum percentage out of this deck, Grape Shot is better than Massacre at the moment. Or Massacre is better than Grape Shot at the moment. Oh, cool, Darth. So I think we should just dive into a league and get started. Oh, hey Max, how's it going? Does anyone have any questions on the list while we wait for an opponent? I know that I don't stream very often. I prefer to record my leagues and then upload. This is mainly because I find that Twitch chat's often a distraction from watching other people's streams, and not that I can't handle it, it's just like not convenient. But also, like, I've had times where I was streaming, and maybe this is just me being a baby, but like your opponent casts Cabal Therapy, and in any logical scenario they would name something like Infernal Tutor or Lion's Eye Diamond, but instead like you're holding like double Chromax or double Rite of Flame, and they name those cards, or like double Ponder, and it's very, very fishy. So like you just like lose percentages, and it looks bad, especially as like someone is a figurehead for a deck. So you definitely get punished for giving away your content. And we have an opponent. Woot woot. A-Bomb Diggity. I have not faced him in a while. Hopefully he is still on Elves. I've seen him at tons of large events for both from the Northeast. And when I joined Moto, he actually gave me some cards for TES, which was very nice of him. Sorry, I'm just entering the information into my spreadsheet. So, this is an easy Empty the Warrens for 12 on the play. I think you take that against Elves. One more mana you could add Nauseam, but this is fine as well. So we'll keep this. I'm sure Jeff Hoogland is enjoying the stream, Max. That is awfully considerate of you. Just black Belchering people. This game just had so much skill in it. No, there's currently no green. Miracles has gone down in popularity, and so has Sneak since the first couple weeks of the format. Right now, the format's a lot more degenerate. There's a lot of Eldrazi and Reanimator, so you have to shift your list in order to beat those decks. Hey Lawrence, how's it going? In between matches, we'll go back through and you can look at the full Storm list. Yeah, Empty the Warrens is in fact a crutch. So it turns out that he's on 4-color alone. Ooh, land drop. Or he might be pretending to not be 4-color alone. I guess Green Sun Zenith is in both decks, but he's played 4-color against me before. I think he shouldn't have shown me that. Because I don't think he's going to kill me from here. I know Adam. So I think if he wanted to kill me from this position, that would have had to start off with a glimpse. Because like even Natural Order here doesn't do it. He is in fact one of Topher's friends. No, he's played some other decks against me in the past. Like one of them was 4-color, and another was a weird ramp deck with like Primeval Titans. He does love the card Force, though. And now all we have to do is attack. Against Elves, all you really want to do is take out Empty and bring in Tendrils. So something you could do in order to hedge against a possible Gaddock Teague is bring in an Echoing Truth or a Chain of Vapor. Before in the past you didn't have to do that because you had Grape Shot. It doesn't hurt, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to bring in a Chain of Vapor. Downsides of not having Grape Shot in your board. Hey Josh, how's it going? Well, he didn't actually need a Birch Lore. He already had Heritage Druid, but if he had a, what's it called? A Glimpse, he would have played it before he played the Visionary. I guess like Visionary could have drawn it, but Foothills doesn't necessarily mean that they're on Rurik. Like, they display a bunch of, like, green fetches anyway. This hand is fine. Uh-oh. We're about to get punished. Yep. So I won't blame that one on stream cheats because, like, Lion's Eye Diamond is a probable name. I think we want to fire back. I think we take the ooze. Hopefully we can end up like brainstorming away the duress because it's essentially a mulligan. Hey Shane. And we're gonna, I see the 2 dorks come down. Yep. Not bad. Alright, so our opponent has Crater Huff and 2 unknowns. If I had to guess, one of them's probably a land. See if he flashes back the therapy. Cradle, okay. That's interesting. I thought he would have kept Symbiote and sacked the Finhorn. So if we hit a fetch land, we can put back the Volcanic and the Duress, which would be very nice. Boom. I normally keep this up in the corner, but I've been playing so much Standard that I closed it. Look at Petition. Bring that shit back up. There we go. Alright, so Llanowar. There's still Crater Huff and X. X could be a Mindbreak Trap, but it's not something we can afford to play around at the moment. And the second ritual is just definitely better than having a Duress. Alright, so theoretically, if our opponent had Mindbreak Trap, we could play around it by then casting Dark Petition. And with our 3 mana floating and Dark Ritual in hand, we could pass. But it's just like not a winning line to me. So if they draw another Cradle next turn, they could hard cast their Crater Huff, or if the other land, or if the other card in their hand is another Cradle. So you're just better off going for it and not being, you know, a chicken shit. Three Deuce, I've been playing... Okay, so the card in their hand was Crop Rotation, so we're about to see a Bojuka Bog. So, I've been playing the standard Storm deck, as I said. No, because... Ooh. Dryad Arbor, not Bojuka Bog. Maybe he forgot to board it in. 12 Goblins isn't always good enough, plus if they have a Cradle in hand, like, they can very... Or if they have had a Cradle, they could have cast Crater Hoof and just, like, beat our Goblins. Adam just told us that he didn't bring in Bog because it's so bad 90% of the time. 99% of the time. So we've played a land for turn. All this is just going through the motions. So I often get very worried about misclicking with the whole priority. So in situations like this, I do get Past in Flames just so that way in case I fuck up, there's a fallback. It has nothing to do with showboating. It's like literally just in case I mess up. Adam says good games, and they were. Woot woot. I will remember for now to update our record. Three Deuce. I have a portion of the website specifically dedicated to that called the FAQ section, where I talk about why TS is a better ad nauseam deck. So in general, there's Chromoxes and Red Flames. Having 8 initial mana sources is very huge. So Ant only plays 4, TES has 8, sometimes 7 depending on the list. On top of that, Red Flame costs 1, Cabal Ritual costs 2, and you're more threat dense. So that's not exactly why it's a better ad nauseam deck, but it certainly helps why it's faster. In general, just lower CMC, you only play 1 card that costs 4 mana, and more initial mana sources. Like, an ad nauseam from 18 life with 0 floating, you're likely to kill them over 80% of the time. And we'll start searching for another match. I should have done that. And that was a turn 4+ kill. Starting this off right. So we will be doing a giveaway tonight. We have 20 people that donated to theepicstorm.com for the fundraising. So we will be giving away a TES tutoring session there. And for those of you watching, there's actually going to be another giveaway. I haven't determined how we're going to do it yet, but there will be another giveaway. I'm going to give someone in the chat a TES tutoring session. Chat is welcome to help me figure out how I should do it. I'm not used to using Twitch, so I don't like the spam grape shot, for example, because I don't know how to randomly select someone without using like Streamlabs that I've never used before. So we'll come up with another method, but chat, figure it out, and we will give away another TES tutoring session. It's taking a while. Land go. So a lot lot of people talk about the differences between Ant and TS being control and aggro. Personally, I think it's all a lot of bullshit. Like, as Ant, you are not a control deck as much as people want to talk about it like they are. You're still a combo deck. You don't really control things all that well. You could argue, like, in control matchups, you are the control deck and they're the beatdown, but, like, it's not really what the matchups are about. Like, half the time they just have 5 counters in hand and you're, like, trying to find a way through. Hey, JPA. I've never used Nightbot. How does that work? I'm looking at it now. Looks pretty cool. Alright, let's see if this opponent doesn't leave. Oh, what the fuck? They don't want us to have our perfect 5-0. We're already on pace. Alright, I'm currently trying to sign up for Nightbot. Uh-oh. Looks like someone's brave enough to play. Is there something wrong with my Moto? Alright, so I'm currently logged into Nightbot. Maybe this will work. Cowards. That's what I say. Cowards. Eddie, you can be a mod. I trust you. I don't know what I'm doing. I just inspected. I think you have to be a friend in order for me to mod you? Nope, that's false. Eddie, you're a mod now. Should I quit Moto? I'm not sure what the issue is. You do not have to have a Moto account to get the tutoring sessions. I know that's not what you're talking about, but it's what I thought initially. I don't really care about which bot it is. I'm only going to ever use it once. I wonder if it's just one person fucking with me over and over. That would be kind of funny. At some point, I imagine that someone else would join, and then that would stop if that was the case. Challenge on you? We are 4-4 in one lifetime, so the next one is pretty big. It's bragging rights for a while. I'm just going to leave this in queue instead of hitting cancel. Oh, hopefully we get paired. We can talk shit about how that creature he likes to play sucks. Brightling and Miracles with his 2 plains, 2 tundras. Mentor is much better. Alright, it's Ved. This hand is great. So both Anu and Ved are streaming. Pretty cool. So this is a matchup where this list is slightly worse because we've cut the Xanads and Decays. Ooh, we did not need another Infernal Tutor. We're just going to play out the lands at Diamond. So far we've had a couple unfortunate draws. We have 14 lands and 4 moxes, so like 18 initial mana sources, not counting Lotus Petal. Yeah, JPA, I keep hands like this all the time. Like, any mana source off the top in that hand is like very good. Counterbalance sucks for us. Ah, a land right there would have been perfect. Main deck Fluster. That's rough. Lawrence, you can be mod too. Jeez. Perfect 5-0 gone already. It's also worth noting, JPA, there's only 8 blue cards in the deck. This isn't like Ant where there's also 4 preordained. Like, your reliance on your blue source isn't nearly as high. And I probably should have discarded a Tutor there instead of a Ponder, but we've already lost, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know you, Grim, so no. You cannot be a mod. Alright, I'm going to concede to not drawing anything. We'll just move to board. So, sometimes I bring in the Tendrils and sometimes I don't. It's kind of what I have a gut feel for. So I think I'm going to try leaving in the empty for now. But I do want to bring in Surgicals. I like them in the control matchups. I'll board out a Mox. And probably a Ponder. Just because I do like being able to Burning Wish for Ponder when there's no discard spell on the board. So Surgical has multiple functions. Like, you're not boarding it in just to hit like Forcible. So you use it to like mess up a Brainstorm. This hand blows. There's like a lot of play to it. So if you duress them, they Brainstorm in response. You shuffle them. You can also like discard Terminus, Surgical it, and then empty. It messes with Snapcasters, obviously. I'm not going to respect back to basics. Yeah, that was decent. So Miracles doesn't play discard, so it's better to actually draw the ad nauseam in case he's ghosting us in Surgicals. If I board in Tendrils, I do board out empty. Oh, I don't think he is. I'm just saying, like, there's no reason to draw the Rite of Flame there. But if you just wanted to happen to Surgical the deltas, this way you have the ad nauseam in hand. So our best draw next turn is Dark Ritual. If we don't draw Dark Ritual, we just cast Burning Wish. Decent draw, just not the best one. So what we could do is Rite of Flame, LED. We're one short of Past in Flames into Ad Nauseam. So I'm just going to cast a Wish. Binder seems good. I mean, we could have boarded out a discard spell there, but I don't actually want a discard spell. What we need is like something in order to cast Ad Nauseam. So either more lands or Dark Ritual. Yeah, Pulverize is great. Come on, Ritual. This is awkward. He probably has Force in hand if he was willing to tap out. Like, it's highly likely. Lawrence, 2 LED doesn't actually do anything is the issue. Like, you can't cast Ad Nauseam, and if you wanted to clear the way, you would need 6 mana in the same turn. It's just, like, super awkward. I think we're probably not going to win this game. He moved very quickly on that one, which means he was either already over the OK or he's F6'd. I don't think he's F6'd. It just like doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to cast the Empty, and our backup plan will be Ad Nauseam. Because if we draw another Rite of Flame or a Ritual, we can still jam it the Ad Nauseam. And in the meantime, we can start representing a clock with all this crap. So, on our following turn... Ooh, main phase. I was going to say we could attack, he'll swing in, he'll flash and snap, and then cast a Brainstorm so that way his guys were bigger. But I guess he wants to do it main phase, so maybe he hits another land drop. No, there's 3 mountains. There's 2 Badlands and a Volcanic. So if we swing out, I'm guessing he'll block, but if he doesn't, let's just say he doesn't and takes 12. And then on the following turn, he would need to play 4 spells in order to kill me. Is that right? I'm just going to swing out. Like, if he has 4 spells to play on his own turn, you kind of just like tip your hat. Because I don't think we're winning this game if we're leaving Goblin tokens back at this point. Another reason why Surgical is great is it acts as a pseudo-Gitaxian probe. So, like, turn 1, your opponent plays a Ponder. You just Surgical the Ponder just to find out information. Hey Dustin, how's it going? I don't know if that means he doesn't have anything. So if I play the... I don't want to play the Ad Nauseam yet. Just because it's going to give him another blocker if he has Force. I'd like to put him in a spot where he goes down to 1 and then we can cast Ad Nauseam. I don't agree with you there. I think it could possibly get better. He's also missed a lot of land drops. Like, if he's not hitting land drops, he's drawing something, and that something is probably Force of Will. Wow, what a skilled wizard. This is how you 5-3 GPs, everyone. That's me making fun of myself for how bad I did in Standard. I agree, it was a very good draw. However, we lose if he has another Force. I'm not going to correct the Lion's Head Diamonds. Yep, I knew it. Alright, so now if we draw Burning Wish or Infernal Tutor, we can win. Which is why I didn't break the Lion's Head Diamonds. I think I want to hold the Thoughtseize. So, do I think that he can cast 3 spells is what it comes down to. We know that the Jace is no longer there. So if he's willing to swing out, I'm willing to bet he has something. So I'll block with 1. And then this way the Goblin token can theoretically shut off the fetch. Or shut off another Force. Come on, one time. Alright, so he definitely has a spell if he's willing to fetch. He predicted counterspell. Okay. I think we're probably dead. So the only way we don't lose now is if Rugvet has a hand that's all like permission spells. And that's game. Because we can only block the Mentor and then we take 8. So we are now 1-1. I'm not sure if we used any wishes that game. We used one for a ponder. Hey BFS, how's it going? So like that game I think was interesting because a few you said that you should just jam the ad nauseum, and you have to think like if our opponent has missed like consecutive land drops, they obviously were keeping cards on top for a reason, and those cards were forcible. Like they're not keeping like just tons of 1 mana interaction and then like discarding to hand size. We won another die roll. Stands fine. So we're going to fetch a basics this game because we can afford to do that. Don't want any of those. Good draw. I guess I should probably turn that off and pretend we're blue duck. Not that it matters. Come on, LED. It's pretty close. If our opponent has nothing, we can win this turn. Force of Wills, Duress, Blind, huh? Force pitching, Force even. To me, they're on Sneak and Show, if that's the case, or they're watching the stream and have a daze. I think we're supposed to jam, technically. Alright, chat, you decide. Do we wait a turn or do we jam? Alright, Lawrence says go for it. Anyone else? Are we jamming or are we waiting? Alright, that's 2 people for jam. We have a bunch for jam and then 1 for MGA, which is kind of similar to JPA. We're about to get this ad nauseum dazed. Ooh. How lucky. Alright, we'll stop there in case of a lightning bolt. Probably should have stopped previously, but I was just clicking so much. Alright, he's F6, so I'm going to toss on a Duress for info. Gurmag Angler, so it is Grixis. Alright. So we don't know if it's Delver or Control yet. I'm willing to bet that it's Delver and not Control. I'm gonna go on the empty plan. I'm gonna board out one Burning Wish, one Tutor. This is pretty standard for how I board in the multiple empties, because you want to keep all of your Chromoxes to keep your mana count low. All of this stuff is just to make sure your deck runs smoothly. So really the redundant cards are extra tutors, and when you're boarding in 2 more business spells anyway, it's a clean swap, but one is much better against Force of Will. Yeah, I mean, like, the empty plan is still decent against Control. It's not bad. Yeah, I would agree. Sand is not great. I'm doing well. How are you? The sand's okay. Because you don't want Graveyard Hate in every matchup. And like the deck, they're on Delver. Like you want cards that help your combo more. Like Probe draws a card, so it was inherently a lot better at helping your deck run smoothly, where just playing a free Peek doesn't do that. If I wanted that effect, I would play Peek. Alright, so we're going to Ponder here. Thinking about dazing? Yep. Reveals Force of Will. They're on the Bomat version. I think that version is a lot worse than the one with Gurmag and Trudim. Like, sure, Bomat's good against TES and other combo decks, but like, in general, Trinium and Gurmag are just so much better. That was not bad. So we need another colored source. I think we're actually supposed to put back the 2 Brainstorms, even though we need to draw into a colored source. People daze turn 1 cantrips all the time. Like, I'm not surprised when anyone does it. Wow, this guy just loves force pitching Force. For what it's worth, I think you're supposed to let that stuff resolve. Like, game 1, if he just let it resolve and had Force Ponder still left in his hand, we wouldn't have killed him on turn 2. That was what we needed. Alright, so we can get empty. The question is, now that all of our shit is resolved, are we supposed to play the ritual now? I think we should, just because it will be 12, and well, it makes them leave a blocker back. Yeah, I think we're supposed to jam the ritual there, because 10 is a 2-turn clock, where 12 is a 3-turn clock, and 12 is a 2-turn clock. I mean, stifle or fluster, and the guy might just not have anything. He's waiting a while. It's probably fluster. Mindbreak Trap. Wow. Alright. That kind of stuff baffles me. Because, like, Storm isn't even, like, good in the metagame. This isn't, like, me raging or anything. I'm just, like, talking openly. But Storm isn't even, like, that good right now. And people are playing Mindbreak Trap. It's kind of silly to me. I just want to see what's left in his hand. Vial Smasher. Alright, we're going to concede this one to go to game 3. Yeah, like, Mindbreak Trap shouldn't be played in Delver decks or even blue decks in general. Like, if you're playing Islands, like, you could be playing Flusterstorm or, like, so many better cards that are not narrow. Like, you can't board in Mindbreak Trap against, like, dozens of decks. So, I don't know. Like, not everyone is... I'm not trying to bad talk our opponent, because that's not what this is about. But people have varying skill levels online, and it's all a learning experience. So, in time, maybe this person will learn that, like, hey, this card's really narrow, and it's not that good in the metagame because Storm isn't very good right now, but what do I know? This is fine. Lawrence, I'm not sure what you're saying here. Sure, but, like, who cares about a Dome for 4 when you can have a more versatile card? It's great. At Dawn They Sleep, don't you also play, like, Death and Taxes? It's a little different. Start off with a Brainstorm here. I was expecting to draw a land off that. Not a big deal, though. So, I don't need the Tutor, and I don't really need the Wish. So I'm going to put those two back. Here's hoping we don't get wastelanded. Next turn we can play Chromox and print Tutor, Duress, and then go off. It's been a while since Storm was, like, at the pinnacle of the tiers. But the thing is, people hate losing against Storm, so they overboard for it. Double Mindbreak Trap, huh? Jeez. No, I don't want to burn the Rite of Flame. I think we're going to take a slightly different approach this game. And next turn I'm going to Infernal Tutor for another Rite of Flame. And we're going to try to, like, draw it out. He also played a land that we didn't know about, so he could have played the Mire on the previous turn. Sure, there's more tilting decks to lose against in Storm. Like, I'm not trying to, like, compare imaginary deck size, but people get very salty about losing to Storm in general because they feel like they didn't get to play Magic, so they tend to overboard, even though it's only like a 5% of the format deck. If that. My spreadsheet's no longer accurate for the Moto meta because I haven't played in 3 weeks. But for a while, people were overboarding quite a bit. And at the time, Storm was like 6% the first few weeks after the format. See if this draws the Mindbreak Trap. It does. So imagine they'll use a Bowmat here. Okay. So I imagine the guy knows what's in there. Why else would he just sack and break? Because he pondered, so he has to know what's there. I mean, you have to get tendrils here. I just hope that they don't have anything. Mindbreak Trap number 3. Or is it a Stifle? It's a Mountain. Is it going to be Bolt Fire Blast? Oh, he just like didn't stack them correctly, I guess? Wow, we won. We beat the Vial Smasher. Alright, I think we're far enough in. Let's fire off one of the free giveaways. We'll cancel this for now. Alright, so we have 20 people. These are the kind people that donated towards the Epic Storms domain and hosting and site writer giveaway. And we have a random number generator of 1 to 20. The individual here will be receiving a free Epic Storm tutoring session. You do not have to have Moto, but I do think the best experience for the tutoring sessions is that you'll be the one playing and I be the person coaching. Theoretically, I have done it in the past where I'm the one playing while instructing, but I think it works better if you are playing. Whiskey Hughes, aka Josh, Also, or I guess I shouldn't say also, used to be someone that did tutoring sessions, and he's gotten incredibly better from them. So here we go. On the third click, it will be our random winner. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 14. Ben Reed, you are our winner. Ben Reed. If you're watching, feel free to say hi to everyone. If not, I will message you privately. But you have won a free tutoring session. Josh, I already flew out to Orlando, and you didn't even want to come say hi, so that is on you. That's cool. I'm glad you think so. I think that he's gotten better as well. That's you, Ben? You are Snow Day. Congratulations. You get a free TES tutoring session. Message me through the website, and we will set up a date for that. So we will do another tutoring session giveaway later on. We'll try to figure out this Nightbot thing. If not, we'll figure it out some other way, like using the contact form and the number or something. I'm not sure, but for now, let's get back to playing Magic. So far, we're 2-1. Let's see if we can make this 4-1, win some chests. Our Mindbreak Trap count for the night is currently 3. So currently on the forum, or I'm sorry, on the website, I was planning on changing this every few months, and I feel like we'll have to do it soon. But what is your favorite thing about the Epic Storm? Chat, tell us. What is your favorite thing about the Epic Storm? I plan on changing that forum out somewhat soon to something else, like what is your favorite? Who's your favorite website writer on the Epic Storm? Don't pick me ever. Pick someone better than me, like Jasper or Anthony or AJ. AJ's incredibly good at this game. I'm very lucky to have him as a writer on the website. All of my writers are great, except for Josh. He's pretty terrible. Wiley Bro. This hand's fine. It's a little slow, but it has a lot of play to it, so we'll try this. This is not an Enchantress deck. The Empty the Warrens Crutch meme is pretty good. I'm also a really big fan of the Black Belcher meme. AJ is awesome. He is a very talented wizard, much better than I. Although he did talk shit about Standard Storm last weekend, and then went 0-3 with Black Red. Well, I had a match win, so screw him for that. But I don't know. I think the Standard Storm deck just really needs to figure out the Black Red matchup, and I'm not sure if there is a way of doing that. So I bought some cards today. I haven't even opened them up yet. They're from TCG Player, which is also located in Syracuse. For those of you that did not know, the headquarters of TCG is where I am from. And they have almost no presence in Syracuse. But I bought some standard cards in case I have to play standard at Richmond. We have 4 copies of Battle at the Bridge. And what is this called? Contraband Kingpin. I might be playing these, but hopefully not. I want to test Battle at the Bridge. In theory, it seems good. I've been playing extra copies of, what's it called? Brawl's Expertise, but it's a little clunky, and I like the fact that Bridge actually answers issues. Like, I lost a match to Ronos, where if I had a clean answer, it would have been a lot easier for me. So you're a big fan of the Through the Looking Glass series? This is okay. I think I actually kind of want to shuffle this. Is that bad? Like, the tutor's fine, so I'll probably keep that. I just don't want a 4th land or a Chrome Mox. I should have stacked that differently, but it's too late. I should have drawn the Mox and left tutor on top. Uh-oh. We're getting belched. Glad to hear that, Atkin. But belch. It's a Belcher mirror, according to some. And we are not the better Belcher deck in this scenario. We kept kind of a slow hand. Hopefully they just can't do anything, because that's the only way we're winning this game. They have the Belcher. Alright. So we're going to fetch up Volcanic here, so that way if we draw a Burning Wish, we can kill them. Or kill the Belcher. I think I'd rather have a Badlands than a Volcanic. And there's no reason to play the Thoughtseize here, so we're not going to. Because we can imprint the Thoughtseize next turn on a Chrome Mox, and that will create a black mana. The land was not good there. We did not need a land. Hopefully they don't kill us now. Alright. Thin our deck out a little bit. Come on. We don't play that many lands. Maybe I should have Thoughtseized there. That was bad. Punish me. Punish me for not Thoughtseizing. I should have Thoughtseized there. That was a misplay. By now they likely drew 1 piece of mana, but not 2. Alright, so we win now. I played this game kind of poorly. In my mind I was already dead, and I kind of just like F6 the possibility of winning. How sweet would it be if this opponent main decked Mindbreak Trap us, huh? Average ad nauseum, pay 5 life, draw 7. We don't even need to continue, we'll just stop there. We are the better Belcher deck. We have an answer. The Belcher deck with 5 lands in play. Alright. Surprised we haven't seen any death in taxes. When I kept that hand, I was very worried that our opponent would go Plains Go. And instead they just played a Belcher and passed. Also, we would have lost that game to an Empty the Warrens, so our opponent chose incorrectly. Alright, so we're taking out Empty. We're going to bring in 2 copies of Echoing Truth. Do we want to bring in the third? Probably not. I think we're just going to leave it at that. We boarded out a Thoughtseize for a wish target. We are not playing Grape Shot tonight. The sideboard is over here. You can see that there is no Grape Shot in there. Maybe in between leagues or rounds, I will go back and show the deck list. Oh man, he opened up his land? How lucky. That is sarcasm. Oh shit, AJ's here. I was just singing your praises a little while ago, while also shit-talking you for making fun of Mono Blue Storm and Standard. I love Grape Shot, but right now, there's a lot of Death and Taxes in the metagame, and Massacre is likely better. What's with this guy always casting his Belchers and passing? AJ, those are fighting words, alright? Don't come up in here with that shit. Durality, I don't know why you thought about that for so long. Okay. Next game. Yeah, I mean, Grape Shot is very good against Death Shadow, but the sideboard is tight on sideboard spaces. Like, if you want to play Grape Shot, you can not play Massacre or not play a second Surgical. I mean, there's sacrifices you make, and Grape Shot is only used like 3 to 4% of matches. So, in the grand scheme of things, like, I love Grape Shot, but you're talking about like a small difference maker. Alright, Black Belcher is on the play. Do we get a second turn? That's what the same comes down to. Actually, we might not even be able to kill on the second turn if we draw a land. Our opponent just asked us how Ant has been without Probe. I mean, I think you're supposed to keep this, but I could be wrong. Alright, chat. Are we keeping this or mulliganing? We could mulligan in an attempt to find a discard spell, or we could try to kill them on turn 2. Your choice. Are we keeping or are we shipping it? I'm fine with either. Landon says keep. Anyone else? Alright. We have more keeps than we have mulls. We have 1 mull. We have 2 mulls. Our opponent mulliganed, so that's good. Alright, so now what land do you play? Do you play the fetch land and then take land out of your deck, or would you rather have the life? Personally, because the only thing that makes it so we can't kill them next turn is drawing a land, I would play the fetch land. Oh, I might have missed it, but it's our turn. Just in case he like casts diminishing returns or something crazy, I'm playing out my lands at Hammond. Alright, our opponent has 7. Are we dead? As Royce Walter would say, do it. Fucking end me. You think they have the Taiga Shattering Spree, AJ? It would be pretty good. Ooh, they passed. Alright. I think my favorite thing about this list is that I get to play 2 Badlands. Badlands is fucking sweet. Boom. Dynamite sounds. And hopefully we can Chain of Vapor these maxes. Or, Echoing Truth, I mean. Always leave red mana floating. When your only way to win is by casting Burning Wish, you leave red floating. Also, there's a lot of garbage black cards you can print on top of Chromoxes, where there's very few red cards. Well, Snow Day, Ben Reed, I don't care what you think about Badlands. So, tough shit. If you have to have a second or a third red source for Pulverized, Badlands is much better than Volcanic Island. You're also not cutting a blue source, you're cutting Bayou. We can't die, so we might as well flip. Alright, I guess we'll stop. 26 cards for 5 mana is okay. If you're into that kind of thing. Like winning. Man, so this is pure evidence that TES is the better Belcher deck. Can you guys believe that? It is King of the Belchers. Oh, I already cast my Rite of Flame. I'm an idiot. Wow, 3 dudes talking shit to Snow Day. Classy. Twitch chat. Boom. That's how we do. I mean, I don't play Grape Shot for the showboating. For what it's worth, that hand even if it went off turn 1 and was only making goblins, we could have won through goblins pretty easily. Alright, so we're 3-1. Let's cash this league. It's true, Belcher with Brainstorm is better than Belcher without Brainstorm. That is a fact. One of them also has Black, aka Black Belcher. Dustin, I don't know. I'm going to try to fit in 2 leagues, but I am running on fumes. I was in a wedding Friday, so Thursday rehearsal dinner. Friday, 100% of my day was a wedding. Saturday, I woke up at 5 a.m. and drove to Providence, Rhode Island. Sunday, drove home. And then yesterday, went to a Mets game in New York City. And then got home at 4:30 in the morning, woke up at 6:30 and went to work. And then here we are. So I've been living a pretty crazy 5 days, and I'm exhausted. So I plan on going to bed early tonight. So I'm going to try to do one more league, and hopefully we can make it quick. Frantic Pets. I've faced this person before. What do they play? They play lands. This hand is great against the lands. We're going to keep this. Chromox is so good against lands. I'm not even joking. Like, it's actually fucking insane. If they're, in fact, playing lands. It's not really a replacement for Probe. It's a replacement for Cabal Therapy. Because Cabal Therapy is really bad without Probe. Didn't really want to draw another land. Okay, so we're in a pretty good spot for going off next turn. Need to not draw a land. Mazaveth, huh? It's not very good. Alright, we're gonna fetch here. If we get wastelanded, that's fine. I just want to reduce my chances of drawing a land. Okay, that's a deterministic kill. I shouldn't say deterministic. We're gonna cast Ad Nauseam and kill them. No reason to even cast the Brainstorm. It's just less mana. So 7, 8. Yeah, we're just gonna jam Ad Nauseam. Like, they probably kept a hand with Wasteland, if I had to guess. Yeah, but Snow Day, I don't make deck lists for local events. I think that's like a really poor thing to do because you don't get better at Magic playing that way. All of my lists are made for large events and or the Moto meta. And the Moto meta is essentially a large event meta game. So you're better off playing... Like, you could play a perfect sideboard for a local event, but then when you go to a real event and you're constrained, you think that your matchups are actually better than they actually are because you've been playing with all these cards dedicated for specific things. So you're just better off playing like a more versatile board, and that way, so when it matters, you're not like limited by a false sense of security. Taking out some ponders. Locals aren't real events. I mean, they're casual level events, and if you only care about playing casually, that's fine. But they don't mean anything, I guess is my point. No, I am not boarding in surgicals. Like, this matchup isn't really about attacking their graveyard. You're better off like just having more discard spells for sphere resistance or chalice of the void or crop rotation. This hand isn't terrific, but I do like the fact that it has Echoing Truth and Ad Nauseam. So we're going to try this. Uh-oh. Turn 1 sphere. Alright, so we need them to not have a wasteland. I mean, it depends on what your goals in Magic are. Like, if your goals are just to have fun, then sure, it's a real event. But my goals are very different than having fun. So it's a little weird. Our opponent is missing land drops, so they probably have another sphere effect. Alright, we needed that. That was a good draw. I wonder if we're supposed to brainstorm on their end step. Probably not. Because surgical, like if you've already discarded a sphere, you're going to win. And it's like you're not boarding in surgical against miracles just for Terminus. Like it has applications against Snapcaster, Forcible, Flusterstorm, like and Brainstorm away like in response to a discard spell. Like there's so many things you can do with it. Where, like, this matchup, you don't care about them dredging life from the loam. Like, that's just not what the game is about. So, theoretically here what we could do is we could cast Echoing Truth in response and bounce the sphere. The downside is we need to draw land in order to make that relevant, so I'm just not going to. Okay. So now we have to discard down to hand size. We'll discard this. Ninjas are not a real thing in my opinion. I'm a little shocked our opponent hasn't drawn a land. We've drawn the same number of lands and I play 14. Riftstone Portal. Shell sounds 0. Okay. Land. There we go. Alright, so we should be able to do some damage now. End step bounce their sphere, untap Ad Nauseam. Time to spin that wheel. Okay, so we pretty much have to hit Chain of Vapor in order to win this turn. Just a heads up. There's 2 Chain of Vapors in the deck and 0 4s, so it's not unreasonable. Wrong bounce spell. Wrong bounce spell again. Come on. Alright, have to stop now. So, Wonder us. We have so many resources. I just want to make sure that I can dress them multiple times. Oh, I fucked up. We actually can win this turn. We can pulverize. What am I doing? I messed up. We had a line in order to win and I blew it. Wow, I'm an idiot. Alright, we'll win next turn. Man, I completely forgot about pulverize. It's in there for a reason and I just passed up on it. Feels bad. Alright, so let's just move to cleanup. Yeah. I just don't know what I was thinking. No excuse. Probably just discard petals. I kept a land for choke, the swamp. The issue is that I'm at 1 life and can't fetch, so that's why I was discarding the fetch lands. I don't think I discarded any real lands there, though Badlands was wasted early on. I expect our opponent's just going to slam choke here. That was bad. He's gonna crop rotate. Okay, that's interesting. See, now we're gonna play a green land and then choke. Don't quite get this line. Oh, I get it now. Because the green source is the whatever it's called. So you can't actually pulverize now. Yeah, we were just locked out of the game because I played like shit. Alright, next game. That was a punishment for playing bad. Ah, fuck. Play bad, get punished. I had the win, and I blew it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's just Moto. It is a learning experience, though. This hand is pretty good. We'll keep this. Search up that swamp. That's interesting. Next turn, no matter what, they can have a turn 1 sphere. It's pretty good. Guess I take this one and hope that they discard it. Yes, Lawrence, how could I forget the influence, the most important thing about Moto? So, like, there's also a real chance that they end up discarding the sphere. Alright, well, they discarded Tracker. So here comes Sphere. Oh, Chalice. Okay. Sure. This will be the game that we draw the Chain of Vapor and not the Echoing Truth. I wonder if we're supposed to play this out. No, because I want to see what happens with Ghost Quarter. I'd agree Sphere is more powerful, but our opponent might not be correct, or they could be watching the stream. So either or, like, they might have seen Brainstorm Ritual in our hand and then been like, oh, well, Chalice is better than Sphere here. Or they just, you know, might not have a lot of experience in the matchup. Oh wow, that was a good draw. All right. Get rid of this duress. I don't think that's very relevant, Lawrence, if we're being honest. Like, drawing Sphere or Chalice is equally as good throughout the game. It's not like one is better than the other. Or, like, one is way worse later. I mean, they deserve to draw the nuts. We threw away game 2. Like, when you give your opponents opportunities to beat you, like, this is the sort of thing that happens, which is why you shouldn't make play mistakes. Yeah, I'm not salty either. I'm just saying, like, when you play poorly, like, these are the kind of things that happen to punish you. So, like, we went 3-2 this league. We should have been 4-1. Maybe in a little bit more rest, I wouldn't have played so badly. And we are drawing very poorly. We can still win this. Like, we're not dead yet. Like, how we win this game is we either draw back-to-back lines at diamonds, or we draw, like, Echoing Truth land into a win. Alright, that was not any of the possible outcomes that allowed us to win. Alright, so we went 3-2, which is kind of shitty, but, like, we played poorly, so that's what happens. And now we'll join another league. And in the meantime, this is the list that we were playing everyone. Yeah, with some better play, we actually would have won game 2. Because we could have just cast Red of Flame into Pulverize. So I think it's like a combination of two things. I'm not trying to, like, make excuses for why we lost, but I'm pretty tired. And then the second thing is, like, I just added Pulverize back into the list today. Sometimes it takes you a couple reps for the deck list in order to get used to, like, common lines. And I think I just missed it. Alright, so we'll figure out how to do the other giveaway soon. This hand is not super good. So, why it's not good is that while discard spells are fine, 4 lands and Infernal Tutor is pretty miserable. The only way that this hand is good is if our opponent's on, like, a deck like Sneak and Show or Miracles. If they're on, like, Death and Taxes, it's still too slow to even be good. So I think I'm more comfortable mulliganing this and taking my chances with a 6. Seems okay. If this Thoughtseize was a land, this hand would actually be like a really insane 6. So generally you want to cast Ritual here before you play the Petal, just to see if they'll force the Ritual. So that way if like you decide to keep on playing out the game, you have an extra storm count in your hand. I think our opponent accidentally F6'd. Give me the info. That's what I expected. And I agree, you probably should concede in that situation. So we're going in blind. There isn't really anything I recommend here. So like you can shave like a Thoughtseize for an Echoing Truth to hedge against something. Maybe a Ponder for an Echoing Truth. Excuse me. But there's no like one thing you should be doing. Hand is great. Yeah, AJ, definitely. I've played Mirror Shards before. Uh-oh, Chromox. Is it a black Belcher mirror or Reanimator? It's a mirror match. We could just be dead. Oh, we're dead. We had a really good hand, too. Alright, we'll concede to that. We also had a turn 1. How crazy. Alright, so we'll take the Echoing Truths out. Bring back in the Thoughtseize and the Ponder. And we want the Surgicals. I think it's probably safe to board out the island. Yeah, it's a black on black Belcher mirror. Pretty good. And our opponent is Mulligan. So here we get Underground Sea in case we decide we want to cast Brainstorm next turn. So you can Brainstorm, fetch, and cast a discard spell on turn 1. That was a good draw. So on our turn now, we will... I'm guessing our opponent's going to play the Lotus Petal. So now we'll duress them, and they'll brainstorm in response. But the beauty is that it gives them a non-perfect brainstorm. Okay. So here we have the choice of getting either Past in Flames or Petition. I'm not sure which is right, but it's not correct to hold the Burning Wish either way. So... well, they're not locked. We know that they have a fetch land. So they're probably keeping one and then shuffling away the other. So the question is, what do we get here? Do we get Past in Flames or do we get Petition? I think Petition's probably slightly better, only because we don't have anything in our graveyard for Past in Flames. Okay, so they didn't play the fetch land, which means that they wanted both of the top cards. Alright, skill game. Let's get that Past in Flames. It's okay. Ritual will be nice. It's actually not great. Like, if their hand is like Tutor plus another mana source, we're pretty close to dead. So we need to hope that they brick for another turn. The Flood. Alright, we should have it now. Our opponent's saying good games but not conceding, so I could duress them and hope to hit a Right to Flame and have it be a break even, but I think that's a little ambitious, so I'm just going to cast it the normal way. I think we're supposed to... so it adds 3, so we'll go up to 5. So Burning Wish just wins. And that is how you win the Black Belcher Mirror. Your opponent floods out, and you win. Yeah, Lawrence, you hit it on the head. So basically, if you want to be good against Chalice decks, you have to stretch your mana base really thin. So you just don't play both. Like, with TS, your mana's like not as great as it is with Ant. And if you're going to play... like, the issue is you can't support Pulverize. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream. And if you want to support Pulverize, you need 3 mountains, but if you want to play like the green splash, you either run Bayou main or in the board, and like running a land in the board kind of sucks because you're losing a sideboard slot. And if you want to run it main, then you have to like play 15 lands or not play Pulverize. So you could run a card like Meltdown, but Meltdown's like a card slower against all of the Chalice decks. For example, if I didn't fuck up in that situation against lands, like we could cast Pulverize there, but it would have been an extra 2 mana, which I'm not sure if we had or not. In general, Pulverize is just faster. The Rooster. This hand looks like it's going to be a mulligan. Because it is. Where's my cursor? I'll try this. I believe in hands with potential, and this hand has a lot of it. So like what we want to see is like Infernal Tutor or a land on top. That'll do, pig. Glimmer Post. So they're either like a terrible Cloud Post deck or Eldrazi. Generally, these sort of decks don't play Wasteland, so you're okay with searching up C. I mean, I don't Google people. Well, I sometimes Google people, but I mostly just use my spreadsheet. It's a very powerful tool. Another LED was fine, but it wasn't really what we needed. Trinisphere, huh? That sucks. We're not dead yet. We can still draw a Burning Wish and a land, and then Pulverize. Need to find a third land. Oh, thanks for the host. I wonder if this person's actually just on like mud and not like big Eldrazi or something. Yeah, whatever. I doubt we're going to win this game before Thought Knot kills us. Alright, so if this Brainstorm finds Burning Wish, we stand a chance. But it would also need to find like an Infernal Tutor or a second Burning Wish as well. Sure, you can have a Karn. Make a 5/5. Really? I'm pretty sure 5/5 was better there. But I'm no doctor. I'm just gonna brainstorm now. Okay. I'm not dead yet. Common theme. I'm just gonna fetch now on F6. So our best draws are like Burning Wish into Tutor or another Burning Wish. Alright, I'll concede to Ulamog. You got it, dude. Let's see if what was there. Oh, if they were in the other order, we stood a chance. Okay. So, here we board in all of our permanent-based answers. Or answers for permanents. So we'll board out the Ponders, and then we'll board out a Duress. Empty is still pretty good against them, so you don't want to board that out. I think you're assuming that our opponent knows that they should chalice for 2. A lot of people don't do that. Also assuming that we drew Pulverize, or excuse me, Burning Wish there, they would need to chalice for 6. This hand is a little clunky, but it had its answers for all their shit, so I'm somewhat tempted to keep it. I'm gonna take my chances on a 6. Like, the issue is it disrupts them a lot, but eventually we're going to be in a top deck war, and just having like one land and a Chrome Mox and a Ritual isn't the best place to be. I think I like this a little bit more. Yes, I will take an ad nauseam. I think a lot of Chalice players just don't know that if they play it on 2, it shuts off a lot of cards. Like, it very rarely happens. Guess I'm taking that. Okay, so we're going to draw ad nauseam next turn. We'll play land, we'll pass. At that point, the best draws on our deck are Lotus Petal, Rite of Flame, Dark Ritual. Another land is okay, but not really what we needed that turn. So what another land does is it makes it so if they draw a Chalice of the Void or a Trinisphere, in enough time we will be able to hardcast ad nauseam. Weird, they don't want to play out the third key. Alright, so there's no reason here to play the mire, because we will be drawing a ton of lands. And hopefully one of them will not deal us any damage. Alright, that's enough. I don't think there's anything they could play that deals 2 damage to me. Like, I guess if they're playing something crazy like Ghostfire. No, we don't have perfect info. There's one card that we don't know. Alright, we're on the draw this game, so it's going to be a little bit tougher. Seems kind of questionable. They mulligan, though. So, your best draw here is a land, because then you can empty for 8. If you don't draw a land, you can brainstorm. But you're likely not winning then, because then you need to draw another land and initial mana source, like a Chrome Mox or Lotus Petal. If you draw a Chrome Mox, that will get there. So you have a bunch of ways in order to win. I don't know, chat, what do you think? Do you want me to keep this, or should I mulligan? I'm completely fine with either. Anyone? Bueller? We have 2 mulligans. Alright. Similar but worse. We're gonna try it. We're going to bottom this, because we need a land in order to win. Alright, so if we draw a land, we can still win this. If this is Trinisphere, we cannot. Alright, we lose. I'm gonna waste my time. Alright, so we're currently 4-3. No, I don't play up Mox because we're not going to win that game by drawing up to 3 lands and winning through a chalice. So your best way of winning that game is to either draw a land in Echoing Truth, or draw another Lion's Eye Diamond and then a land, and you can just win without casting any ones. Yeah, Lawrence. Like, I'm willing to just accept that I'm not beating a Trinisphere, because at that point you have to have 2 answers, and it's just not very probable. So I'd rather just like hedge against beating the one thing that I know in the best way possible, and like having multiple lines. So like by playing the Mox there, you're taking away the line of just like jamming a bunch of zeros into empty, and I'd rather have that available than like theoretically the 1 in a million chance of beating a Trinisphere. I have faced this person before, but apparently not since the banning of Deathrite. I mean, I could theoretically pray to draw 3 lands, Burning Wish, and Pulverize. I value my time more than that. This hand's really clunky. I don't like this. Slightly better. Preordain. I'm guessing they're probably on Ant. It's the most most probable. So if we Thoughtseize them, we could theoretically sacrifice our 2 lands and blow up all this shit if we were guaranteed to lose. Pretty close to death. Maybe if they play out some more things, they'll do it. They shuffled with Ponder. Alright, let's see if Brainstorm can fix this hand. Do we win? We win. Easy game. We will instruct them how to Douglas. With our kitchen table to me deck. So we need an initial mana source and we're getting pretty low on life. That's game. Man, this deck is so difficult. Alright, so let's pretend we didn't reveal just like the greatness. What I would have done here is I would have pulverized away their Petal and Lionside Diamond to make sure that we don't lose on the following turn, and then I would untap and kill them. But because we just revealed like the best possible things we could, I'm just going to kill them. Alright, so we'll burn out the empty, we'll bring in Tundrils, and then we'll bring in Surgicals. I don't mind boarding out a Mox, just because like the games tend to go a little bit longer. And with boarding in Tendrils, we don't need a Burning Wish, so I'd rather have Burning Wish than siding on a Ponder. Or I mean, I'd rather have a 4th Ponder than a Burning Wish. Like in the Storm Mirrors, Burning Wish is like kind of medium. Okay, so chat, let's do the other giveaway. If you are interested in a free TS tutoring session spam Grape Shot into the chat. And after this game, we will draw a winner. And Josh is disqualified for posting it twice. That's what you get, Josh. Alright, Josh, I won't disqualify you. But yeah, it's only one per person. I think that's game, unless they have Flusterstorm. Did they hide Flusterstorm on top? Boom. Alright, so there's actually very few of you that want a tutoring session, so I'm going to use the same method that I did before. Alright, we'll stop at 4 life. The tutor, or the Tundrils is in our deck, so we have to cast the Infernal Tutor here. Okay, so starting with Chatham, you are 1. Data Abyss is 2. Down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Alright, so 1 through 6. That is not what I used earlier. On the third click, that is what the winner will be. 1, 2, 3, number 6. That would be Rich Bork. Congratulations, you are the winner of a free TES tutoring session. For those of you wondering, or that don't care, Rich Bork taught me how to parallel park when I was a much younger person. Did I miscount? I thought that Data Abyss entered twice and then Whiskey Hughes entered twice. I don't know what raiding is. Can someone explain to me what raiding is? Is that Anurag sneaking into our chat? Or Twitch thing? I don't trust Anurag. Nice. Anurag thinks that Monastery Mentor is a bad card, which is ridiculous because it's the only good White Storm card they've ever printed. It's a shame we couldn't play Anurag. That way we could have settled our 4-4. I'm gonna ship this. Yeah, this hand isn't great, but I don't expect to do much better on a 5. They're on 4. I like discard when they've mulliganed that far down. I wonder if they'll just concede to duress. They're on Nickfit? Valyrian pile? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Zero clue. I guess I take intuition. I don't know if they have Forcible on their deck. I'm not even sure what we're facing. I'm definitely putting this down as rogue. Yeah, I was trying last week on LPL. Just because you said you wanted me to try harder on Rock. Everything I do for you. We're just going to get Dark Petition here. So one of the things about this list is that you kind of just concede the fact that you can't beat a main deck Attic Teague. Yeah, I thought it was learned too. Like, the Imperial Recruiter kind of gives that away, but it could also just be like a garbage fit deck. Doesn't cast Imperial Recruiter. That's interesting. I don't even have anything to good to get with this Burning Wish. I guess I could get Massacre. Start the beatdown. It's empty. Do you think that they drew another intuition? Is that why they're not trying to cast anything on their main phase? Because they want to end step intuition for a learn? You cast Pulverize, fuckhead. Everyone that's Chris McCready, he lives in the town over from me and has super bad manners. Ooh, Imperial Recruiter advantage. Yes, exactly what I wanted to draw there. I missed out on the opportunity to Infernal Tutor for Infernal Tutor. That was a mistake. I mean, it's good for us if we ever draw a card that's relevant. I should probably fetch twice, just because we need to not draw too many more lands. You have a very good point there, Chatham. I could just draw the worst card in my deck every turn. Shockingly enough, we could actually use a third Infernal Tutor in the graveyard, and I am not joking. Ponder's okay. I did not consider telling the opponent to concede to me. I don't think they'll go over very well. But we're probably going to lose this game. Like, we'll eventually go off, and they'll just have, like, forcible blue card. We're going to lose to their Molda 4. We could also just die. I imagine they'll discard Red of Flame here. Oh man, Imperial Recruiter advantage. So next turn, they can Eternal Witness and then Intuition. Alright, so what we can do is we can Infernal Tutor with 2 mana, Red of Flame, Red of Flame. So we're a mana short. And we know that Burning Wish is the top card, and we don't actually want Burning Wish. So I'm just going to cast Tutor. The downside is that now they're going to therapy us. The only way we could possibly win is if we ponder and hit a black. We'd flashback, Pass some Flames, ponder, hit LED, and then crack LED for black, Infernal Tutor for another Lion's Eye Diamond. So let's use the calculator that Alex made to figure out our probability of hitting a Lion's Eye Diamond. TheEpicStorm.com. Alright, so with casting, we'd have to fetch in order to do this. So it's going to be 41 cards in library. We have 4 outs. 1 ponder. Calculate. Why isn't this working? This is really bad advertisement for my website right now, Axe. This is all your fault. I don't get why this isn't working. Alright, I don't think we're dead next turn. The issue is that we'd be going off again, so our opponent is going to flashback Cabal Therapy anyway, and then it puts us in a scenario where we have to draw exactly a land in order to do the same exact scenario. So I think we're supposed to go for it right now. Well, they have Rec Sage in hand. We can't put LED into play. Alright. None of those are LED. Ooh, and our deck sucks. Why should you have to fill out the whole calculator? Okay. I think it was definitely right to try to attempt to win there. Only because of the Cabal Therapy was in the graveyard. Man, slow rolling the Illurin. Alright, so we lost that game. That's kind of sad. Are we supposed to board and bounce spells? I don't think we are. I think we just take out the empty. I mean, we would have lost the game if we emptied. This hand is fine. They just killed us. Or am I, like, not remembering the game correctly? Did we pass? I'm going to get a free shuffle out of this surgical. I'd have to rewatch. Like, I just don't remember it at this point. It wasn't the line that I had in my head. I do like that our opponent kept a super, like, graveyard hate hand after seeing Past in Flames game 1, though. That's kind of awesome. If they didn't have a second surgical, we could go off this turn. Good draw. So I wonder if they'll take Rite of Flame here and then surgical it. And it looks like it's going to be the case. Free Storm. And now we are going to empty them. Nice surgicals. Go, go, Goblin aggro. We're on the draw this game. Glad we boarded in the tendrils after all those surgicals. Because there's no empty in our deck. I also don't think it matters. Like, if there was an empty in your main deck, I don't see why, like... But also, like, it's irrelevant. If there was an empty in the main deck, I'd rather take an empty out of the sideboard and leave the empty in the main. So I think an interesting line here would be if they discarded tendrils and then surgicaled it, because then we're forced to win with goblins. Double therapy is pretty good. So hopefully they don't have a land here, so that way we can play out the lines at diamond. And they don't. That was less than desirable. I guess the one benefit is we're in a position where a Burning Wish or an Infernal Tutor off the top for the rest of the game, like, sort of wins it. They could have a surgical. I think we're just supposed to empty. You could try for like a Past in Flames line, but I think opening yourself up to possible hate, just like, it's not worth the risk. Like, they're likely to not kill you from this position. They drew a second land. That's how it starts. I still don't think we're going to lose this game regardless. So like here, you probably play Baleful Strix and then you block. Or they already have a Lurin. And they need a land for next turn. Oh, they hit. So now they play a Lurin, play Strix, try to draw into Recruiter. Or just a Lurin into Recruiter wins. Oh, and that's game. We lost. That happens sometimes. That's interesting. I'm just going to make them do it. Make sure they don't screw up. Okay, they have the entire thing. I'll concede to that. That was close. Man, not a great record tonight. 5-4. With 1 to go. See if we can at least break even. We did lose the bird tendrils. It's just magic. Our draws game 1 were so bad. Last match of the night. I don't think I've ever faced this opponent before. This seems okay. That's Shadow. Kind of forgot people were playing this. I've heard that it was all over and that I haven't seen it at all. I think I'm okay with throwing away a dress right here, just because it makes this other brainstorm isn't perfect. I think this is kind of interesting. I haven't faced the Death Shadow deck since I started playing again after the 3 weeks I was off of playing Legacy. Interesting, Snapcaster. So what did they hide? Verdant Catacombs and something else? Nice. I don't understand why you would daze like that. Seems really bad. Alright, so we need to draw a business spell and mana, so it's going to be a couple turns before we can do anything. Step 1. My contacts for drawing out. I don't even know if it is correct to daze that. Like, I get that you have Snapcast or Thoughtseize to follow up, but I'd rather just, like, have an extra interaction spell. And now he's going to play Death Shadow? Yep. Come on, empty. Not empty. We have a lot of outs. Like Burning Wish or Infernal Tutor off the top just wins. We have cantrips. And we're on 2 more turns because we don't have to use the fetch land. I guess if they drew something here that dealt them a damage. Alright, so now we have 1 draw. Nope. Alright, so we lost that one. Let's see what the next card was. Alright. Empty is insane against Death Shadow. I mean, there's a chance that they're not very experienced. It is like an entry-level deck. It's very cheap. I mean, you have to keep this hand. I'd prefer if the Burning Wish was an empty, but... I agree, I'm not arguing that there isn't power, but with entry-level decks, people tend to be less experienced. See if they force Volcromax. Nope. They're F6. Or at least I think they are. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, if I was playing a blue deck, I wouldn't F6, but people are lazy. They shuffled with Ponder. That's probably a good sign. They could play a really big Death Shadow next turn. Cool. Game 3. I'm gonna try this. I'm not in love with it, but it's okay. It was an okay draw. On their end step, I'm gonna cast Brainstorm. The shock pass to me is like super interesting. Because like normally an untapped land would mean like Flusterstorm or something else, but they just want to do themselves damage and they had Brainstorm, so like you don't actually know if they have something like Flusterstorm or not. I think I'm going to play it safe and hide the empties. So if you hide both empties and then get surgical, that really sucks. Because like you would cast a discard spell and then they would surgical you. I think you're supposed to put back like discard spell, discard spell. Alright, we're going to listen to Jack Kitchen himself, the master. One half of Cook's Kitchen. Ooh, the fluster. Here comes the discard spell. We do have empty on top. The downside is if they have another fluster, we cannot beat it. This is where they dagger us with a second Flusterstorm. Nope. I think it's a very weird time to brainstorm. Like, you don't. The only thing you could possibly draw now is Mindbreak Trap. So it would be better to just like untap and then brainstorm next turn, looking for a sweeper. Because I feel like this is just like minimum value brainstorm. A Mindbreak Trap would be hilarious. It would be the 5th Mindbreak Trap we saw tonight. Or would it be the 4th? I'm not sure. Forcing a copy leaves 8 and they'll go down to 10. Like, it's actually not super good. Oh, I guess I was counting their storm. Alright, so that's slightly better. Hammer Solo. So you don't have enough mana to cast Duress that turn and empty. You only had 4 mana because the Chrome Mox doesn't make any mana. On the previous turn we tried to cast Thoughtseize, but it was countered. Oh, I just realized our opponent had no cards. Whoops. Doesn't really matter though. So we attack them. We can't die here unless like they draw Berserk. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to Lawrence. I was talking to Marcelo, not that it's a big deal, but I just like did something without paying attention. But it's not like the discard spell matters anyway. Yeah, that's it, Lawrence. So I think like people overestimate, not that our opponent played perfectly here because I don't think that they did, but a lot of people overestimate their Shadow matchup against Storm combo. Like it's really good against Reanimator and Sneak and Show, but I think it's pretty bad against Storm in general. Just because like a Tendrils or Empty that's small does kill them. Like you'll see here that we emptied for 3 copies and it's going to win us the game. So, I think, like, if Shadow ends up becoming the best Delver deck, Storm will become a lot better. And we got our entry fee back. Woohoo. So we went 6-4 on the night. It should have been 7-3 if I didn't misplay. For those of you not watching, I missed the line where I could have gone Rite of Flame for Burning Wish into Pulverize, destroyed a Chalice on 0, played all my artifacts in 1 post ad nauseum. But I was moving a little quickly and I lost the line, and it happens. If I had taken my time, I probably would have noticed it, or was less tired. But 7-3 is okay. 6-4 is pretty medium. What were our losses? Let me check. We lost to Alurin because we drew very poorly. Sorry, I'm filling in my spreadsheet really quick. Alurin lands. That one should have been a win. We got crushed by Red Vet on Miracles. I don't really care about that one. I cut all of my Miracles hate, so I kind of expected that to happen. Oh, the Eldrazi matchup. That's the other one we lost. That one was like kind of close up until game 3. Or we just got smashed. Well, I didn't say that Shadow was the best deck, best Elver deck. I said if it becomes the best Elver deck. I think that the John Sukenik Grixis Elver deck is very, very good. With the 3 True Names and the 3 Grimmags. I also like Miracles right now, as you can see because I'm playing it in Legacy Premier League. Alright, well, that's enough for tonight. I'm gonna crash. I'm pretty tired. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I've had a pretty crazy 5 days. So thank you for everyone who watched, and I might do this again in the near future. Who knows? Congratulations to Ben and Rich Bork, who both won free TES tutoring sessions. And thank you to everyone who donated towards domain and hosting. I really do appreciate it. I already have a pretty good idea for the website writers gifts. I reached out to a connection today to see how I can make it happen. So thank you once again, and everyone have a great night.